Hey everyone, and welcome to the Cinemaverick. Today I'm going to be playing Tainted Grail Conquest on Steam. Steam is one of the great ways to play a lot of different board games. I play Gloomhaven on there, Root. So Tainted Grail is one of these big box, expensive board games with lots of miniatures. And I wanted to, try it out and see if I liked it on Steam. Now, what I later found out, actually, is that Tainted Grail Conquest is pretty different from the board game version. It's what they call a roguelite. But essentially, it's a deck-building, turn-based combat game. It does have a main story, where you're kind of, not dungeon crawling, but you're exploring the world, having combat, and leveling up your character very quickly. Now, the downside to that is, when you die or win, you lose everything. What you're actually leveling up is not your character, but the town that you're in. And there's a couple different game modes. So, part of the reason I'm playing this is actually for bragging rights, as sad as that seems. But this is the leaderboards for Conquest, and what it ends up being is how much damage can you dish out on the final boss. And clearly there's some kind of maxed damage that a lot of people have reached. And then you got Endless Misery, which basically removes the story entirely, and you're just fight after fight after fight, Tetris style, until you lose. And Endless Power is very similar to that, except instead of constantly weakening you, they constantly give you boosts in power. And then there's usually some kind of weekly event where they force you, this is actually me right here, where they force you to pick a certain character. They have these very specific circumstances. You're not allowed to do this, or you don't have that, or you lose health, whatever. And then this one's usually timed. It's like, how fast can you beat the game? So yeah, I'm in the middle of doing Endless Misery with one of the characters here. It's the Pathfinder? Yes, I've been playing so much I forgot the name of the character. But essentially, it's better to look at it through the menu, but I can't do that right now because I'm in the middle of a run. But there's basically 3 melee characters, 3 archers, and 3 summoners. But they're totally different from each other. They just have some similarities in the card play. And I'll jump right into the game in a moment. But you can see from here, even from the leaderboards, which characters have kind of a difficulty going far. I think this is the Zealot, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the Sentinel. And this is the Apostate. The Apostate's a pretty popular archer, so Apostate has a decent record. This guy went 301 fights before, giving in. Necromancer is probably one of the weaker summoners, so that's actually pretty impressive. And this is the Summoner. He's decent as well. And this is the Blood Mage. So he sacrifices his own health. So that's actually a pretty impressive score as well from that guy. And I forget who this is. Who is this one again? I totally forgot who this is. I haven't played as these other characters in a while. I got them all to level 20, but it's been a minute. So the all-time record across the board is actually the character that they start you out with, and he's all about damage, essentially. And then the one I'm at right now, where I'm about to beat this guy's record, is the Pathfinder, and he's more about defense. So I think he has actually very good survivability. And going far on Endless Misery is very different than going far on Conquest, because here you're really just aiming for damage. And you're trying to get... And there's actually kind of a limit, because there's only so many fights you actually can do here. Versus here, it's infinite. So it's more about survivability. Anyway, that's enough talking. Let's jump right in and make sure I don't click Abandon Run. Alright, so yeah, I'm actually at 252, so I'm about to beat his record. That's why I did this. I have so much money that I can't spend it on anything. That's unfortunate. There's some different currencies that you can spend on different things in the town. But when you're doing the leaderboard and you're just doing survival, they don't really give you many opportunities to spend money. So let's just go on the character just really quick here. Okay, there's different skins, but you ultimately can make your character look however you want. It doesn't even matter which type you pick. And this is the difficulty level, so I'm at 441. It's absurd, actually. So this is the ability that the Pathfinder always has, no matter what. And the ability will usually dictate your style of play. You have to go along with it. Trying to go against their ability doesn't really make any sense. So in this case, he basically, the more shields you have, the more damage you do. The more defended you are, the more powerful you are. That's pretty much how he works. I feel like he's a very intuitive character. It's very easy to understand. I say he, but you also can make it be female if you want. It's totally up to you. So along the way, as you level up, you get to pick between different masteries. The thing is, I think some of them are constants. Some of these passives, there's a certain stage where a couple of them are always there. But most of the time, it's totally random. And they give you 3 choices. Now, I've gone very, very far with this character, but if I had the power to kind of really lay it out, I would have made some different choices. But sometimes you just have to make the best choices early on versus what you would make later. It's interesting that it says level 1, but because I mean I'm sure this character would be some crazy level. I don't know why it says that. But anyway, so the masteries. Okay, so these are basically just constant. They're always there. And thank God I got this one, because I'll explain later why, but no matter what character you pick, you need to find a way to reduce the armor of your enemies. Otherwise, none of your damage is going to be going through. You could be doing crazy damage, but very little of it will matter. Because basically armor, the way it works is it's a percentage reduction. So the more armor your enemies have, they reduce your damage by whatever percent. So you need to reduce their armor so that they don't reduce your damage, essentially. So I have a lot of card draw. Basically, I keep drawing from my deck a lot, and this is my way of reducing the damage of my enemies. And then this is the mastery that's kind of always there. They give you 3 options. I can't remember what the other ones are, but I think this is the middle option. So I'll talk about my ultimate ability later. But the point is that this ultimate ability gives me 3 block, and that's the best thing. That's the best choice to make, obviously. The more block I have, the better. Even if it's excessive, it still helps me no matter what. I'll go through the passives. It's going to be interesting for me, even. I don't remember the order of which I picked these up, because you only start getting... you only get stuff, I think, in the first 40 fights or so. The first 30 or 40 fights. After that, they stop giving you anything. So I'm at like 200 and something. I haven't gotten any passives in a very, very, very long time. And if I could, I probably would have picked some different ones. Some of these help me a lot, and some of these don't help me at all at this stage. So yeah, okay, whenever you use your ultimate ability, draw 2 additional cards. Card draw is always great, so this is still great. Increase your maximum damage by 6. This, fine. It's good. Gain 10 barrier for every unused block. When you're playing the normal game, Conquest, not Survival or whatever, or maybe if you're playing with a different character, this is great. Barrier is essentially extra life. It's sort of a different life bar. And you'll see in a minute, but my life bar and my barriers don't matter at all. If I ever need them, it means I'm dead. So this is totally useless. I don't know what my other options were at the time, because they usually give you 3 choices. Probably one of those other choices would have been better at this stage, but it's fine. Unused energy carries over to the next turn. Energy is basically your money to spend on cards. So this is great. It means nothing is wasted, and that's always great. Whoa, okay. Start every combat with instant focus. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but this is a good one. You'll see why it synergizes with some of my other abilities better. This thing is like really sensitive. Maybe I'll start from the top. If you didn't receive any damage last turn, become focused. I think this is just standard. This character always has this. So essentially, if you don't get hurt, you get like a boost, and it's a damage boost. You see it over here. It says increase damage by 50%. This effect stacks. So every turn I get more and more powerful. Now the thing is, when you're doing these survival things, you don't actually want there to be a lot of turns, because it takes frickin' forever. So I usually don't even see much of a benefit of this, because the fights are usually over by 4 turns, 4 or 5 turns tops. But this is great against bosses in the normal game. Once per turn, drawing a card over hand limit reduces the cost of 3 cards in hand by 1. This is nice, it just makes my cards cheaper as I draw, and I do have a lot of card draw. While having 1 focus, gain 5 blocks. So right out of the gate, at the beginning of the game, I'm already very protected. In the first turn, I'm protected, because way down here, I start the game with focus. So I start the game with focus, and I start the game with 5 blocks, so those go well together. Draw 1 additional card after every 4th card played. Fine. More card draw synergizes. Each combat reduces the energy cost of the first stance played by 0. Again, it makes my first turn strong. Oh my god, sorry about this. Okay. Whenever you play 8 cards, draw 1 card. Its energy is reduced to, again, more card draw, more energy reduction. Gain 1 energy after playing a 6th card. Again, all these things seem to go well together. Draw 1 additional card for each unused block. This is pretty good. This is not like great on its own, but you'll see why this is actually pretty crazy, because I have so much block, and I draw so many cards for each unused block, and with my mastery of whenever I draw an additional card, I reduce the armor of all enemies by 5. This ambush combined with, where is it? Where is it? It's just here. Yeah. So ambush with overprotection is crazy because I have so much block. I draw so many cards every turn. You're going to see in a moment. And I reduce their armor. Otherwise, I'd have no way to reduce their armor. So that's great. Okay, ultimate charges. You gain 2 energy. Fine, whatever. It's fine. That one is not that great. I think that was just the best choice I had at the time. I think I picked this one up very late. Because usually, you'll see in a second, I'll show you why, but usually you use all your charges, and you know, you don't usually you're not going to have the energy to use on the next turn. So this one's not that great, but it's fine. Draw 1 additional card for each enemy alive. Yeah, it's okay, but again, more card draw the better. And that's it. So that's all the passives. I know that's a lot. This is playing the game at a very high level. It's probably better to show. There are probably other videos out there showing someone at the beginning of the game. I'm showing you someone kind of very deep and well into the game. So the deck. By deck builder, don't think of Magic the Gathering or anything like that. It's a bit more like a game like Dominion, more like a deck builder. And again, even this deck is not the greatest. It's totally random, right? So there's some cards you maybe are hoping will show up, but you get what you get. They give you 3 choices, and then you got to pick one. Now, you also have a starting deck, which is always the same. And they give you opportunities to remove cards. They'll make you choose between either you pick up another passive, or you remove a card from your deck. And I almost always pick remove a card from your deck, because you want your deck to be predictable. So don't think of grabbing and grabbing and grabbing cards, because if you have this huge deck, it's not good. Your deck will be very unpredictable, and sometimes key cards you really need won't be there. So I wish this deck was even smaller, to be honest, but, you know. So, for example, Insight is a card that will always appear every time. It's a duplicate. It duplicates one of these blue cards, and it's always there. This is like a staple card. He always has it, and you know, it's a great card. It's fine. And then block, with 3 blocks, you always start with these. Now, I would love to get rid of these because it's good at the beginning, but it's pretty weak later on. But I had to get rid of other things. As you can see, I have a lot of blue cards because that's how this guy works. Once he uses all his blue cards, he gets to use his super ability. And yeah, and I don't actually have much red, which is not that great of a thing. I kind of wish I had more attack cards. But these are the 2 attack cards that he starts with. These are his staples. The more shields he has, the more damage this does. This was a card I picked up early enough to make a difference. Now, as you can see here, it starts at 200% damage. Right now, it's doing 6,660% damage, which sounds like a lot, but actually it's not even that great. But basically, every person I kill with this card, it increases by 10%. So you could, if you wanted to, you could do the math and actually see how many people have been killed by this card. But I usually try to make this be the one that does the last hit, just so it keeps scaling up. And, you know, in an ideal world, I'd have another attack card, another pretty good one. But no matter what, I didn't see one that, you know, was that great. So these are okay, you know, at the beginning. I picked up 3 of these along the way. And you'll see a pattern in the way I chose to build this character, but basically I didn't care about armor. And I'll explain why when I'm playing the game, but armor doesn't matter to me. So I gain 3 blocks, but I lose a bit of armor until the end of the fight. And then you get it back in your next fight. A lot of it will be card draw or energy reduction. So like making things cheaper and drawing cards. This is a great one. If you can pick up a couple of these, it's not a bad card. I think there's a couple copies. I only have one copy. This is probably the most key card to my deck because it reduces the cost of one card in hand, and it's a chain. Chain means like how many blue cards did I play before this one. So the order matters. So if I play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then it actually reduces the energy cost of 8 cards in my hand before I play this one. So it basically just makes it possible for me to play my entire deck. So this is a great one. This is a good one to play early on. It draws 2 cards, reduces their cost, so it's an early card I play. This one gives you a block, and then next turn lets you draw an additional card and reduce by 1, exactly as it says. So it's just better than a base block because it has the block, but then it also helps your next turn by making cards cheaper. This is a duplicate, but unlike Insight, which is also a duplicate, this only duplicates blue cards. This can even duplicate a red card. So I have 2 of these. I think I had an opportunity to get another one. I probably should have. But yeah, this is one that's pretty crappy. It's good against bosses. I mean, it costs nothing, so it's fine. I always play it, but it only increases my damage by 10% by the end of combat. But again, I don't like long fights anyway, so it basically barely does anything. This is probably one of the worst ones I got. This is great because it's in the fight, right? So it's only in that turn, but it's 100%, so it actually makes a difference. It makes a slight difference, more than this one does, but they're very similar. This one is good if I'm fighting a lot of people. So when I'm fighting a lot of people, like 4 or 5 people, this can give me 5 blocks, whereas this one can only give me 3. But this one's more reliable than this one. And yeah, okay. Again, energy reduction, nothing very complicated here. And that's it, actually. Yeah, that's my deck. It's not crazy. And there's a couple cards I kind of wish I had. There's a block card that has chain at the end, similar to this one. And I wouldn't mind having one of those. Because even though it's like, you probably shouldn't have 2 chain cards, but if I can reliably go through my deck, I could do like maybe, let's see, there's 19 of these, right? I could play 9 cards and then play this one. And then he'll make the next 9 cards be for free. And then I could play about another 9 cards, play the block with the chain on it, and get 9 block. So I would have loved to have that, but you know what? I can't complain. I've gotten very far with this character. I'm about to be the leaderboard, the top of the leaderboard for the Pathfinder, and go further than that. So runestones, again, no, this all makes it seem like it's super complicated. It really isn't. There's normal runestones, there's rare, and there's mythical. And all of them have an ability they do when they're in a weapon, and they all have an ability they do when they're in your armor. And you got to kind of make that choice. I don't have the greatest runestones that I picked up, and I'm not getting any more. So these are the ones I'm sticking with. And by the way, this is when you get like 3 of the same one, you can upgrade it to level 2, as you can see there. So let me just see. Actually, I should swap these right now. So this is Lifesteal. You'll see in a minute, there's a situation where a card gets played where I can damage myself, and I just healed myself, but I really don't need that to be there normally. So this is just basically just to give me a good first turn, and then after that, I'm fine. So in the first turn, draw 1 additional card, reduced by 1, like cost reduction. So they only help me in the first turn, but they get me going, and then after that, I'm fine. This makes my damage increase based on the number of cards I play. Now, the way I've done things, I go through my entire deck. So I'm usually doing at least 19 cards before I play my attack cards. So this actually can make a difference. You know, 19 times 8, I'm getting decent damage. On defense here, even though I would love to have this mythical in my weapon, it just helps me more in the armor because it reduces the cost of every 4th card I play. And you never know, I might be in a tight spot, and I don't ever want to be in a situation where I need to play a card and I don't have the energy to play it. So it's more of a safety concern. This is just useless. It doesn't do anything. But none of these other options are good. So at the end of the turn, it deals 1 hit of 4 damage to all enemies. 4 damage, even with all my multipliers, it doesn't do anything. It's like just a little sneeze on these guys at this level. Early game, fine, it's great, but no, it doesn't do anything. And then this rare, again, I might put it for the lifesteal, but usually what it does here is it reduces the max health of all enemies by 3%. 3% isn't much, but these guys have insane health now at difficulty 441. They have insane numbers of health, so 3% actually is significant. Okay, enough talking. Let's, whatever. Okay, this is interesting. My wealth, 30,000. I can't spend it on anything. My base damage is 8 to 18, and my armor is minus 500. You'll see why in a second as I progress. Now, I have some potions. I'm never going to use these. If I ever need it, that means I'm dead. This might help me if I'm in a tight spot. I've never needed it, and I'll explain the weird candle in a second. I know that was a lot, but let's get to the top of the leaderboard. Let's fight. I mean, I don't know why I'm explaining all this, because likely the person who's watching this video probably knows how to play the game. So as you can see, my opening hand is a lot. I don't even know how many cards it is, but this is not normal. Normally, I think you're starting with, I can't remember, 6 or 7 cards. You're starting with something like this. So I have a lot of draw right out of the gate, and then I have my other 10 cards, and it's totally random. But because I have this in a way, I pretty much can control it as long as I play things in the right order. Now, as you can see, the health points on these guys is stupid, okay? It's 17,000 health, 3,000 health, 85,000 health. They're also starting with a lot of armor now. So armor basically is percentage. So he removes 65% of my damage before I even start, 40%. And in a minus case, I basically am increasing their damage. So you're probably thinking, how the hell does my character survive? Now, I'm not playing the armor game. I think other characters might, where you just keep increasing your armor and reducing their damage. I play the shield game. That's how the Pathfinder works. So I don't even look at their damage. I don't care about their damage at all. I care about the number of hits I'm taking. So he does 2 hits. He's going to do 1 hit. He's going to do 1 hit. He's doing some kind of buff, so that doesn't matter. So basically, all I have to do is protect myself, in this case, from 4 hits. There are other guys that can do more. There's like a character with all these arms. He looks like Goro, and he can do up to like 10 hits by himself. But right now, all I have to do is defend 4 hits. I'm already, because I'm focused, I already got 5 defense before I even do anything. Now I'm going to overkill like crazy, and you'll see why, because that's how I reduce their shields. I do wish there is a red card that reduces armor. I didn't get a chance to pick it up. I wish I had it, but even my way of doing things is still reliable enough on turn 2 or turn 3 to reduce their armor. So yeah, I don't care about my armor, and you're gonna see why I keep reducing it versus other options. So as I said, if I can, I usually do play this one first. It's been reduced because of my rune stones, so I may as well just play this one first. This is a good one to play first too, because it's card draw. I won't explain everything because you guys know my cards now, but you'll see the general flow or the way I pick my cards. The order does matter a lot in a lot of circumstances, and then yeah, this is reducing the cost now. But I do try to get to 9. So what happens is if I get to 12, I'll get 2 more energy. Right now I still have 3 out of 3, which is my money to spend on these cards. If I get to 9 energy, I'll get additional shields. So probably just pick this one. It'd be funny if I died while recording. It's like I got too arrogant or something. Yeah. So it's just important to get that first turn mostly right. And I have 3 energy I can spend on anything. Even if I don't spend it, I still get it carried over to the next turn on top of more energy. I don't think... See, these 1 shields maybe aren't really worth it. So I'll probably just take the damage. And I usually like to try to kill something, if I can. I think I can kill this one with Final Strike on its own. The problem is, this is not the greatest fight to show. It's a longer fight, because these guys are really annoying. They multiply every time you kill them. So if I kill these guys first, these guys will multiply across the board. I think this game only allows 5 enemies, 4 or 5 enemies. So it makes more sense to go after him first and let him just keep splitting in these two spots. Because if I kill these guys, I'm giving him more room to multiply. Even though I'd rather kill this thing. So I'm probably going to target him. And I'm probably not going to do much. Like, look at that. That's pathetic. But I will get more powerful. That's actually decent. I will get more powerful as the rounds progress. Okay, I killed him. And he multiplied. But he only multiplied in 2 spots. Okay. So, one last thing. This is your weir candle. And in the normal game, it matters a lot. Especially in the early game. I have 3 of them. I will never use them. Because I have infinite fights ahead of me. So what difference does it make? At a certain point, I'm going to run out anyway. So essentially, when you use a weir candle, it gives you cards that help you. If you don't use a weir candle, you get cards that screw you over, basically make things worse for you in some way. Generally, I don't even pay attention, like, oh, draw 3 cards less, whatever, go ahead. I have so much card draw, it doesn't matter. This one I don't really like because it increases their armor. So I'm not going to play it, basically. So if you play it, it does something. If you don't play it, it does something else. So, but always watch out for these because it can really change your game. There's one that reduces your energy, and that's potentially deadly. Because if I only have 1 energy or something, I can't play my cards, I can be in a lot of trouble. So yeah, that's that. So I just end my turn. Now I have 24 shields. They're not going to be able to do anything to me. And what you'll notice is their armor dramatically reduced based on all these cards I drew, right? So now they're much weaker and I'll do more damage. Also, just in general, as I get focused, I do more damage. This is your damage percentage. So, I'll just quickly go through this and stop talking. I also time when I play this because there is only so many cards you can have in your hand. So it lets you draw cards, but sometimes it'll just give me the energy because my hand's already at like the max. So I do try to play as many cards as I can before I hit the switch. Which again, it'll give me shields, it'll give me energy, and it'll draw cards for me. That's essentially what it does. It doesn't have a direct contribution to my damage, other than the fact that when I have shields, Onslaught is more powerful. Okay, go play this one. This is nerdy and fun for me because I've never actually been at the top of the leaderboard of anything. Let alone a game like this that seems complex, but actually it's very welcoming at the beginning. I don't want to put anybody off because they're looking at it, somebody who's put like 100 hours into this game. It just looks like an entirely different beast. Yeah, I could probably one-shot him with this. So I'm going to duplicate this card on him, make sure he's dead, and duplicate. That means this card's playing 3 times. Yeah. Now I can kill these guys if I want. I don't think... I might kill him. Nope. There's a damage range, so it's never really clear. So as I said earlier, this is my focus 3, this is my damage, this is my minus armor. Especially with the minus armor. I'm getting these barriers, additional health on top of my 140 health. As you can see, the damage that these guys do is absurd. So if I ever don't have enough shields, this isn't saving me. I'm gone. So it's very important that I play lots and excessive, absurd amount of shields. And the beauty of it is the more shields I play, the more cards I draw. The more cards I draw, the lower their armor is. And then also just makes my deck more reliable. And the more shields I play, the more damage I do with Onslaught, which is... that's something that doesn't change from the beginning of the game to the end, if you do happen to stick with the Pathfinder. Okay, you'll notice that in my middle game, I'm trying to play all my cheap cards. In my mid game, I usually have to play this. This is like the middle of my flow. After that, I just kind of play them all. Even if I don't need it, I still play it because it charges up my thing here. Okay. Now I may cost 2, but I have 7, so now I have like too much energy. I don't even need it. Gone. And I probably could take these guys out. Let me see. I don't think so. Just a lot of damage. Yeah. So it's usually by turn 4, at least now at this stage, because these guys are just stupidly powerful. Now, I've spent a lot of time, obviously, playing this character. I've played other characters. I've gotten them all up to level 20. In the main game, that's the maximum you can go. So I've tried them all. I have no clue how you would go far with some of them. You know, like I created this build, and again, you can't plan too much because you don't even know which cards are going to be available or which passives are going to be available. So you have to plan, but also kind of just roll with, you know, like go with the flow. He can one-shot him. Now the cool thing actually is, okay, I'm not even going to play this. I want to kill these both with my final strike. This actually carries over. So if I do, this is double, it actually carries over to my next turn. So I could just like, but you got to be careful because I might get a bad card, and you don't want to double a bad card. So again, look at that armor. Armor minus 130. You can also rotate the camera. Whoops. Get different views. I think you can zoom in, zoom out. I don't know why you need to do this. Also, one other thing is I've turned off most of the animations because I want the fights to be faster. So the game is actually cooler looking than what you're seeing here. It's just to speed up the amount of games that I can actually play. Okay. Oops. See, and sometimes you're gonna make a mistake. Like, especially if you're playing this many games, you're gonna make mistakes. There's no question about it. It's not the end of the world. You just have to stay calm. And in this case with this character, as long as my shields outnumber everything, I'm okay. The funny thing is, I don't even remember how to play a low-level version anymore. So I'd probably be really messed up if I had to start back from the beginning. Because I'm like so used to this build now. Like I've even forgotten his other card options. He has a few others that reduce the cost of cards, like weaker versions of Disruption. There's one that reduces 5, always 5, but it costs 3. And there's one that reduces the cost of 2 cards. So there's a couple of variants of these. I could just play this. I mean, I don't even need to mess around anymore. Just end this fight. So that's it. I'm at the top of the leaderboard. No matter what, I am the best Pathfinder. So this is Endless Misery. This is why they call it Endless Misery. Is after every fight, instead of getting better stuff, getting cards and runes and leveling, you become weaker. So what I've been doing, and I didn't even know this, by the way. I didn't even know that it was like this until I was presented with this choice. So it's my first time kind of dealing with this. You can reduce your health, which I suppose I could. It doesn't really matter. My health doesn't matter because if I ever need it, I'm dead. I can reduce my damage. I would not recommend that because it's already hard enough to kill these things at this level. I can reduce my armor. Now my build doesn't depend on armor at all. Other builds do. So this could be very bad for other builds. Or you could do this. I suppose some characters might want to do this, but I mean, if I click this, I could lose a very essential card to my build, and I could get a card that doesn't help me at all. So this is the scariest one actually for me by far, than all 3 of these. Like, for me, it would be, I always click on this one. And then maybe next would be this, but then again, that's a limit, right? I have 14 times I can click on that, so this is unlimited. So I would always click on this for this particular build. I would never touch this, probably, but this is the worst one by far. So yeah. That's my curse, and now I'm at combat 253. So let's just do one more, just for the sake of it, and talk as much this time, because I've been kind of trying to explain everything. And probably most of you already, if you're watching this, you probably know most of this stuff anyway. You just maybe haven't gotten this far, obviously, because of the leaderboard. Or you're playing a different character type. I know the archers are very popular. People really love the archers. For that reason, I actually tried to get into the apostate, and I don't know what it was. I'm just not good. I just suck. I suck with the apostate. You know, like I beat the game, I did whatever, but I just can't really get into the flow with that particular character. So yeah, I don't know what it is. It doesn't make sense to play this because I actually have no more cards to draw. But all my stuff is free. I love that green 0. So I usually like to just try to get a kill out of the way. He's pretty easy to kill. He's like a healer. I probably could. Yeah, I could. Like this damage right now is 2,200 to 5,000. So odds are, but he's on the higher end of 3. Odds are I'd probably kill him. But just to make sure that I do, or I could use this too. I could do that. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Like, you can overthink as well. This won't do anything to any of these guys. Like, it barely will do anything right now. So I just nibble on him a little bit there. And then just start a new turn. And I said I wasn't going to talk too much, but obviously I have an issue with that. So I'm not going to play any of these because my hand is at my... I think this is the most cards you're allowed to basically have. So I try to play some of my shields, you know, leave a little bit of room, and then get a bit of card draw. You know, and then I'll activate my ability again because I want to have room. I want to get those cards. Maybe I'll play this one because it draws, and then play this. And then I usually just kind of look around until there's something. I mean, obviously my attacks I'm going to play at the end, so I always ignore the red cards. So now everything has a price on it, and then I play this guy. He reduces now 10 of my cards. Everything's free. And that's that. I'm very curious as to see videos like this for other characters, because I know this one inside and out. It works for me. I mean, I think the only way I'm dying basically is if I get bored. I may actually have to commit suicide with this character at a later point, because now my game is locked in on this run. I can't play Conquest, which actually is a design feature I would like to see changed. You know, you should be able to have like multiple things running. I know you can have more than one game save, but then that's an entirely new like save where you don't have all the characters unlocked, you don't have all the abilities unlocked. So yeah, because you know sometimes you just get bored, and that's actually the level I'm at with this character right now. Yeah, usually we'll use it just to make sure he dies, and then obviously I use this one as the final hit. So this fight's obviously over. Done. So even if you're not a person who's using a Pathfinder, like this is at the 250 luxury, you can get an idea of what you're in for now. You need a way to protect yourself from these numbers. These numbers are crazy, okay? So if you're not going the shield route, you need health or barriers that are upwards of the high thousands. So, okay, now, that's a bit misleading because there are cards you can play that can reduce their damage. So I don't have those kind of cards because I don't play that style with this character, but there are ways of doing that where you can do like 50% damage reduction, whatever. You can get these numbers down to something more manageable. But yeah, I am very curious to see how other people play at this level of the game. And mostly because I'm just, I'm so used to this guy. I obviously could get more shields than this, but I just noticed that at this stage, like I could duplicate shields, right? Obviously, but I just rather duplicate damage. Playing these cards multiple times is better than anything else. So this guy, yeah. Oops, I didn't even mean to play that. See, it happens. Whatever. Not the end of the world. I'll just carry these over. These guys do a lot of hits. They're a dangerous one for me, although I'm never really in danger, but they do, these two together do 8. So I actually need 8 individual shields. Again, I don't have to pay attention to their damage numbers at all, but I do have to be careful. Although, once again, I never really feel like I'm in any danger. Like, I'm already way safe right now. Just, like, super safe. These guys are 4, 5, 9. They're 9 hits. So nothing is getting through. Yeah, so these are usually the last 5, and then I just kind of have to think about how to play them. I think I could just straight up kill him, and I might as well just kill this guy. So this is being played 3 times. It's overkill. It's big time overkill. It doesn't really matter. Put some of these. This is all kind of excessive. I just like to get into the habit of playing my cards properly, whether I need to or not. I mean, sometimes I get a bit lazy and I just kind of click around in these later fights when I'm just against one person. I think this might be enough, actually. Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's do one last one. I'm at 255 now. I like getting a lot of blocks out of the way early. It just makes me feel comfortable. Again, I would only have taken, in this case, 2 hits. Again, I would really love to see how other people are playing this game with those other characters, because I honestly don't know how they'd be survivable at this level. With these kinds of numbers that you got to deal with, it's crazy. And the positive side is, I'm very far in. The fights don't take that long yet. I do think if I was maybe another 100 fights or so, I probably shouldn't have played that, but that's fine. It might get worse, because you'll notice in this first round, my onslaughts, and this is with 25 shields. They don't do very much. And I have a 380% damage boost. But again, like a lot of them, well, at least these guys didn't start too strong. He's got 10 armor, he's got 0, and he starts with minus 15. It could have been some stuff I've played that brought them down. But it doesn't do very much. It just kind of lowers that health to something a bit more manageable. This would kill him. I think I'll just play 1. Duplicate here. And then carry these over. I gotta be careful though. See, if I play these first, and then I play this bad card, these will actually duplicate the bad card. So I'm just not, I'm not gonna play it. No. There's a couple instances where you want to play that bad card though. Okay. Yeah, I basically try to play the free stuff except the duplicates, and then just control the card draw to the point where it's not being wasted. The cool thing, by the way, one thing I didn't say is the cool thing about the reduction thing. You know how some games, like, you'll reduce the cost of a card, right? and then another card will do cost reduction, and it'll be applied to the same card and basically be wasted. This game doesn't do that, which is really cool. If it reduces the cost of a card, it'll automatically reduce the cost of a card that can be reduced, rather than doubling up on something like this and being wasted. So that's actually a really cool thing. It's a very reliable ability. So in this case, I'm only spending 1 energy, and I have 2 that will carry over the next round. So I usually get very consistent in the second, third rounds. It's the first round that is the riskiest one, so to speak. He theoretically could one-shot him. His upward damage is 9,000, but it's better to double it up. And he's doing 4 attacks, so he's worth targeting. He's like a mage of some kind. It doesn't matter. I'll double these. There you go. That was decent, actually. I can just finish him off. Okay. Now I'm being a bit lazy. But I mean, even lazy, I still have 12 shields. I'm just looking for the card because I know it'll kill him. So you're getting a feeling for the flow of essentially what I'm doing, and probably why I'm recording this video. Just I'm at the stage now where I'm playing this and listening to podcasts, and now I'm talking to myself and you, whoever is listening to this Tainted Grail Conquest leaderboard-ish video. I mean, like, yes, I am bragging, but I'm also mostly just very good with this character. And the other ones, you know, I get a feel for it. I almost want to pick, like, the least liked character. This guy's reasonably popular. I mean, everyone loves the archers. Okay, everyone loves the sentinel, the apostate. Summoners don't get a lot of love, but, you know, some people like them. And then they love the base guy they give you. I forget his name. It's like weird something. But he's like the offense guy. He basically gets more powerful the more red cards you play. He's like sort of the opposite of him. So he's like mid-level popularity. He's pretty popular, but not that popular. The least popular character is the archer that is called the Zealot. And that one he's weird. He gets powerful by like not playing cards. Like if I play this one, this is an example, he doesn't have these cards. But if I play this card, and then I just end my turn, the discarding of all of these, the not playing of cards, makes him powerful. So he's a bit of a weird character. And I'm half tempted to see if I can find a way to make him work. I don't know if it's possible, but it's worth it. This was the Goro guy I was talking about earlier. Right now he's doing 3, but every turn he gets progressively more dangerous. And now that I killed him, this summoner guy turned him into something. I don't know. Who cares? At this level, if you're paying attention to what the enemies are doing, like in at a very deep level, you're probably about to die. And that's the truth. So this has basically become... Oh, I did a duplicate. I shouldn't have done that. If I'm going to duplicate something... What is he at? 9? No. I will duplicate... You know what? I'll duplicate this. Make my next round cheaper? Yeah. Makes my next round of cards cheaper. Play this. Just play all of these, and this. Increase armor. I won't play that. Okay. Can I one-shot him? Almost. But either way, see, now that I only have one duplicate, this only duplicates blue. So I kind of have to play both of these. I can't just play this because then this card will be wasted, or it can be used on the next turn. It's not the end of the world. So I'll do that, and you know what? I'll take a gamble. I think it'll kill him. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, fine. So the duplicates will move over to the next turn, as is 2 of my energy. I also get a bonus by getting to 12 again. Not the greatest power, but every little bit helps, I suppose. I'm happy with the build. It's not like I'm not happy with it. Obviously, it's doing well. If I had to pick, I would have loved to have a chain of block. Not to talk about crypto, but yeah, it's like accidentally what it means, the blockchain. I'm on the 4th turn now. I could end it right now, but I think I'd rather... It doesn't take too much time to just add another turn. Oh, but this skeleton revives. So I actually have quite a few turns ahead of me. I might as well kill him too, this turn. Then there's a certain point where I have so much energy that I can be a bit reckless. You kind of just click on anything, and then eventually click on this one in the middle. Mid-game, I mean, mid-turn. But, yeah, okay, so he can be one-shotted. Just do that, and then I'm going to try to kill this guy twice if I can. See, it didn't kill him because he spawned fresh, and he starts with 60 armor. Now, when I get my huge card draw, each card is going to reduce his armor, so... See, he's going to be down... He's down to 20. So 20 is more manageable, but he doesn't have a lot of health anyway. He's kind of weak. He's not even a very dangerous character, really. I mean, I know these are famous last words, but I can't see how this build is ever going to die. The only thing I could see is at a much higher level, they were going to have so much armor and so much health that they're just going to take too long to kill. That's really what it is. Right now, depending on what I'm dealing with, it takes about 3 or 4 turns, which is reasonable. It's not like that long. Okay, one more fight. It is a little bit addictive. It's reasonable. See, these guys are annoying. So this guy basically kamikazes, and he's going to do it in 1 turn. And then this guy, whatever. I have a bad experience because one time, right now I'm at like 250, 260 fights. One time I was trying this for the first time, and I got to about 40 fights. It was like early on, you know, and I liked the character. Who knows? I might have liked him even more than this one, but I mean, I must have miscalculated. I don't know what happened, because I'm pretty sure I had a lot of shields. He blew up, and I died. Now, I'm superstitious. Like, I know for a fact that it just counts as 1 attack, but because I got kind of scarred by this thing, I always kill it first, even though it makes more sense actually to go after the sandworm from Dune thing, because he's going to split up, and he's going to take that spot. He's also going to take other spots, around here. Even though it doesn't make sense, I still always go after him. It's almost like a superstitious thing, because he took me out when he went kamikaze. So yeah, I'm going after him first. It's like a permanent vengeance. Let's see, he's got 9,000 health. Yeah. The good thing is it does all the calculations for you, by the way. Like, you don't have to calculate anything. You just you click the card, you point at who you want to fight, and it'll automatically calculate the armor and tell you your damage. So if I attack him, it's 1,580 to 3,500. Here, it's 2,000 because he has less armor. So actually, I think if I triple this card, he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. And I only have 1 energy left. See, it doesn't always pan out perfectly. So I'll just do a little... I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'll do an attack on him. Why not? It did nothing. Okay. Now see, this is a bad card. Because if I don't play it, I lose 75% damage. I mean, at my level, that probably won't do much. But losing armor, I already have minus minus 500 armor. There's a couple cards I play, not this one, but there's a couple cards I play that reduce my armor further. I keep giving up my armor every turn. So yeah, sure, take my armor. I don't care. I don't need it. I don't use it. You know, it doesn't make a difference. And by the way, every card I play, whether it's a negative card or a good card, increases my damage. So it works out. At least for the turn. That's why it went back to normal here. I guess because this is the last fight, and then after that I'm going to stop this video. What I will say in general, regardless of which character you play, okay, you can focus on different things for sure. So as you can see in my build, I have sacrificed armor completely. Someone else's build, this may be their most important thing, right? Whereas in my case, shields have been the most important thing, and they may not even care about shields at all, and not even every character has access to shields. So it all depends on you. But in general, you do need a way to reduce their armor. It's too difficult to ignore. If you ignore it and you try to focus on damage, you can have these crazy percentages, but your percentages will be nullified a lot. So you do need to reduce their armor. You do need to increase your own damage in some way, right? You do need some form of a way of survivability. So is it barriers that's keeping you alive? I don't know if you can get to these kind of numbers, but you need barriers that will keep you alive. Or shields, or armor, or some kind of combination. In my case, I don't care about my health, I don't care about barriers, I don't care about armor. I only care about shields. That's it. So, survivability, damage, and reducing the armor of enemies. They're all, again, as I said earlier, there is a way to reduce their damage. You could do that. That might help your survivability. Maybe you need a way of reducing their damage and also increasing your barriers where the math works out. Again, if anybody has like videos like that or can recommend channels to me, I would love to see how other people have made the math work. Not like I'm sitting down with a calculator, I'm just... This game just, in a very Darwin sense, you'll learn very fast if what you created works or not, because you'll be dead. So, yeah. I'm gonna go after him and let him occupy this spot. I think... Yeah. That actually should be sufficient. Let's see. Yeah. He's gonna have a lot of armor though, see? That's the problem. So I may as well just dump this damage into him. Hopefully, I don't want to kill him, actually. Yeah. Just make him more dead. Make him more dead for later. So every fight is different, but the same principles kind of apply, you know, it's just like, and I know this deck now inside and out. And the way I play, I see every card, every turn. That's not normal for this game. I might have overplayed right now, did I? Yeah. I only have one energy. So I can't play both of these. Whoops. Okay, another one multiplied over there. And I'll duplicate for the next turn. I think that's another thing I kind of like about this build, is, as bad as it sounds, it doesn't, like, it requires concentration, but it's not, like, intense concentration. Like, the way I've done it, there's just a certain flow to the way I play the cards. And it's basically prioritization. Just an order, and it usually has to do with card cost rather than actually what they do. And then I just end up with usually these ones right at the very end. These 3 blue and these 3 red. And that's usually the part where I have to think a bit. I want to just kill these things. Yeah, it's very important to leave these spots occupied. This is the flesh-eating maggot is the last stage of its, I guess, devolution, not evolution. So if you leave these alive, they just occupy that spot, and then I weaken these, because if I kill these, then I'll have to deal with more. So you're probably thinking, well, why don't I want more so that I could keep leveling up this card? It's just, honestly, it takes too long, and the reward is not worth it. I kill enough things with that card that it just doesn't matter. I was playing a bit like that in the early, like, I think when I was in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I was trying really hard to make sure I killed everything with this card. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. That's why I don't think this card is that great in the main game in Conquest, because I don't think you can actually level it up to the point where it matters that much. Whereas here, the main challenge you have is at a certain point you're stuck with a stagnant. Okay, this is a dangerous card. I'll just finish my thought. You're stuck with the same build forever, and actually your build is progressively getting worse. So in my case, it doesn't matter. I've made it not matter. So the only card that I have because these guys are going to continue to scale. They're going to get higher health, higher damage. So at least I have something that is scaling. And that's why I mean, it started out as a weak card, and these were much more powerful, and now this is actually like my most powerful card. So even though it's not even that deadly. So here's the thing. This card, actually, you lose a quarter of your health. Again, it doesn't really matter to me that much. It'll never actually kill me. It'll just reduce my health and whatever. It's just annoying. It creates 20 barrier on enemies. At the beginning of the game, this is so annoying, because 20 barrier is so much of their health. At this stage of the game, 20 barrier is nothing. It's irrelevant. I mean, we're talking about a creature that has 4,000 health. Who cares if he has an additional 20? So, you know, it's kind of silly at this stage. But yeah, make sure you play that before you play your duplicates, because I would be duplicating this card, and it would go up to 60, 80, whatever. Mostly it's just we waste it. That's really the key here. I think he'd one-shot him. So let's do it. Yep, he did. And I gotta kill that thing. How much damage would he do? Almost the one-shot. Actually, let's just play both. Oh, he did one-shot him. Okay, cool. And now I can just kill this thing. Oh, you know what? I should have played it on these guys, because these guys have minus 35. These guys are brand new maggots, so they have 25. That's why he's alive, is because of the armor. Oh, I have a duplicate. I have a triple duplicate. So, what will I duplicate? I don't want to attack yet. Yeah, you know, sometimes I don't mind duplicating this, because then it makes me like really strong this turn. So it's 3 times this card, which means I'll have an additional 300% damage. Or sometimes I'll duplicate a very high shield card, like let's say this one, because gain 1 shield for every enemy alive. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could get 15 blocks just with 1 card. But regardless, I mean, shields is not really that much of an issue with this build, so I'm pretty much in overkill territory most of the time, and the best part is it's not actually overkill. I do benefit from it. The more shields I have, the more cards I draw. The more cards I draw, the less armor they have, and the more damage this card does. So it just all works out pretty well. Now, somehow I screwed up with my energy that I can't afford this card. It's fine, though, because I just kind of want this fight to be over. So just kill these guys, start a new turn. And again, this looks nice, right? Like, look at all that barrier. But even these shitty, pardon my French, even these maggots can still get through that very easily. So I still have to be very conservative. Just defending myself a lot. I'm not actually playing that well right now. I'm not keeping a close eye on my energy costs. So this is an example of bad play that I sometimes will do, especially if I'm kind of tired and bored. Not to say that the game is boring, but it's just like, I think when you're doing any kind of leaderboard situation, it doesn't matter if it's Tetris, you know, you're doing the same thing over and over. So it's almost a test of your own endurance, really. But the end result is the same, so it's fine. So yeah, thanks for watching. This is Tainted Grail at a very, very high level, not to toot my own horn. Now I'm at 258. It's kind of interesting because I feel like I may have to suicide this character just so that I can do other things. In Conquest, I'm not actually that great. What have I done? This is with the weird candle character. But this is my favorite character. This is the Pathfinder. You know, I'm in 225th place, so I'm not even doing insane damage. I haven't really tried too hard on this one. But on Endless Misery, this is my old one. I'm much more ahead of. I'm ahead of this guy. Now, if you look at the other characters, and again, this is impressive in its own right? Like these characters, I don't think they have the survivability of a Pathfinder. So I'm impressed with these people that have managed, especially with the summoners. Like, you might be like, oh, this is 93, 127, but this is actually very impressive. Like, Necromancer hasn't even broken 100, because he's not a very survivable character. So, this is one of the most popular characters. He's in the 300s. So that, maybe, I might aspire to try to beat 300. Sentinels, again, not super survivable. This is considered to be the weakest character. I'd like to give this guy a go. See if I can figure out a way to get him some respect. Now this guy, I feel he just got tired. He got bored, and he decided to end on 666. He just quit. I'm pretty sure he could have kept going. He was just bored. He's like, I made my point. I went to 666. I'm done. So it looks like the only people that are ahead of me are this guy with 305, him with 666, and we have, I think it's an apostate at 301. So there's only 3 people in total in the whole game that have gone higher on Endless Misery. So I'm just kind of figuring out when I'll stop. I mean, either maybe the game will kill me, but I actually don't really see that happening. Maybe I'll go to the point of some fun number, like the way he did with 666, you know, or to the point where it takes too long to win a fight. That like each fight is like 30 minutes or something, then I will stop for sure. I'll just have to kill my character. Endless Power it's sort of the same thing as Endless Misery. It's just easier. They just keep giving you stuff, so it works really, really well. It's just the same thing, but you just keep scaling, you know, perpetually. So you see that there's much higher numbers here, but actually it's the same guy who's #1 there. So maybe I'll try Endless Power afterward. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's Tainted Grail Conquest.